I think at the very core of the whole experience, I have learned that I am much stronger than I ever thought I was. My name is Mike Demas, and I am from Dallas, born and raised in Dallas. I lost my left leg below the knee in April of 2013. It was as the result of an infection caused by a flesh-eating bacteria. My foot and my ankle were so degraded that I had a couple of options. The doctors gave me the option of trying to salvage, and they gave me the option to amputate and said that I would probably have more mobility with amputation and using a prosthetic device than trying to salvage. And I was like, yeah, let's go with amputation. The situation I was in was extremely grave. I mean, I was, and I say grave, I mean, I was pretty close to the grave. They were not trying to save my foot or my leg or my ankle or anything along those lines. They were trying to save my life. At the time, I didn't have health insurance. Sitting there going, how am I gonna pay for any of this? How am I gonna pay for, I don't even know how I'm gonna do that. And once I made the decision to have my leg, amputated, and then I woke up, I had to deal with the reality of, how are you ever gonna deal with this? How are you gonna walk again? How are you gonna get a leg? How are you going to get back to a normal way of life? I remember going online while I was in the hospital, trying to figure out how much does a prosthetic leg cost? I'd heard everything from, a few $1,000s to, $15,000, $20,000. And I was like, well, I don't have either of those. So that's not gonna be a good option for me. I honestly thought I would never be able to walk again. I left the hospital thinking I'm gonna live without a leg for the rest of my life. The surgeon, Dr. Dunn, looked at me and he says, I want you to go upstairs and see Kai. He says, we have an in-house prosthetist. He says, he's the one who can help you. He'll explain to you everything about your prosthetic leg. And I was like, how's that gonna happen? I was like, I don't have insurance. The only way I was able to go to those appointments is because they were follow-up. So there I go on my walker, and I hobble up, get to the elevator, go upstairs. And I walked in, and he started talking to me about my leg and what I needed to be doing. And I needed to be talking about things like shrinkers and exercises that I needed to straighten out my leg. And he was gonna take a cast and all this different stuff. And he could get me a leg that could do, different things and absorb. And I remember looking at him just going, what are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about. And he was going on and on about this. And I finally turned and looked at him. I was like, I don't know what anybody's told you about me. I said, I don't have insurance. And quite honestly, I don't know how I'm gonna pay my rent next month. So I don't have the money to pay you for a prosthetic leg. I said, that's just the reality of where I am. And he stopped what he was saying, and he turned around and he looked at me. He's like, Dr. Dunn mentioned that to me. He said, don't worry, we've got it covered. And I was like, what does that mean? He's like, we got it covered. And I was like, and I just shut up. I was like, don't question, I said, they might say no. They might take it back. Don't say anything. So I listened to him, followed his directions, and came back to the office a couple weeks later. They took a cast, and then like 2 weeks after that, go back, and there's a prosthetic leg that he puts on me, and I'm able to walk out of his office. I was like, it was the craziest thing in the world. That, I think, was probably more of the life-changing experience than actually losing my leg and being given back the ability to walk and to stand and do the things that I wanted to do. The support that he and his staff have given me over the years has been invaluable. The feeling that I had when I was sitting in the office and Kai turned and looked at me and said, yeah, he says, we got it covered. the weight that was taken off of my shoulders. I can't, it's almost impossible to describe. Kai's office gave me the ability to walk. Gave me the ability to walk at a time when I wouldn't have been able to do it any other way. I was gonna be just that guy who had his leg cut off and gonna walk around, you know, without a leg for the rest of his life. I am more than a patient there. I quite honestly consider Kai even more than a friend, probably closer to family than I would a friend. There are people out there who don't have the relationship with their prosthetist and their prosthetist's entire office that I have. I don't understand when I talk to other amputees and they're like, oh, well, they're not helping me and you know, I'm just out on my own. And I was like, I don't understand that because I've always had such a tremendous sense of support. I walk into their office with a plate of cookies. It's like, there aren't enough cookies in the world for me to give them. So I just hope that he knows that there's no way, there aren't words, and I don't even believe that there are actions that I could use to express the depth of my gratitude. I had a medical team in the hospital who saved my life. I mean, they literally saved my life. Kai, though, gave me my life back. And for that, I am eternally grateful.